You have to be able to differentiate between prayer and meditation. Prayer is generally associated with religion, and generally prayer usually entails you asking for something for yourself or somebody else. Please God, help my son, he's sick. Please help us with our family. We don't have money. Please help us through this dark time. Please, things of this nature. Meditation basically has everything to do with getting rid of energies and connecting with your higher self, and aligning your energies with the higher vibrational divine collective. Sometimes I do meditate. I don't really pray, in the sense of like a religious type of tradition. Sometimes, maybe it'll be my own version of it. But what I find myself doing more often than not these days is neither meditating or praying. I commune with my higher self. And, you create a very special space where that communion begins, and you just gather, all of the energies, man. And it's a beautiful experience because it doesn't have to be what they told you it is. Like they say, meditation, you have to sit with your eyes closed, a certain posture in the room alone, wearing certain clothes with oils and all these rules they have. It's just all nonsense. Prayer is always, strictly guided by religious doctrines and ideologies and rules and such and so forth. Following the gospel and the letter and all of that stuff. And that's just all, it's the intent of religion is money and control. It has nothing to do with spirit. What I'm referring to is something of a personal nature. That's to me what really was spirit's about. Your own idea and understanding of these things, your own formulated personal, relationship between these things, your own definition of what these things means to you, your own interpretation of it, not following somebody else's opinions or advice or instructions or ideas or suggestions or thoughts or any of that stuff. You just doing it yourself because whatever it means to you, that's what it becomes. You're making it up as you go along, and that's a beautiful thing. It's not really so much improvising as it is getting in touch with who and what you really are as a soul that's occupying human form temporarily. And that's really what you should look into. I'm not going to say you need to do it or have to do it because I'm not your boss. But to give an example, Bruce Lee had a style that he came up with called Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. So basically what he did was he took all of the styles of all of martial arts and he took the best of all of it, and then he modified those things and he incorporated that within a nucleus that was based around Wing Chun. And then he just modified this system and he adopted a philosophy, using no way as a way. So he was right. You have to just you formulate these things yourself by not being restricted by limitations of patterns and following rules. You have to be flexible, adaptable. You have to be able to change in midstream and make a transition, not be rigid and inflexible. You have to personalize these things. You have to create them as you go. If something doesn't work out for you, modify it until it does. And if you can't be modified, then replace it with something better. Learn from the mistake, learn what not to do, and make sure you don't repeat it. But spirituality has nothing to do with sage and crystals and incense and candles and all. That's what they want you to think. That's why people adorn their houses with these things, with Buddha banners and tie-dye t-shirts and this is spiritual, look at me. This has nothing to do with spirit. Nothing to do with spirit. It's because you have been deceived into believing that this is spirit, so you have to be this in order to be spiritual. It's nonsense. You don't have to own tarot cards or infinite types of tarot decks where they collect them like baseball cards. You don't have to do that. Spirit will communicate through you without any accessories because you are the greatest conduit of energy. You're made of water, and water is the greatest conductor of energy. I mean, that's common sense. That's why everything in the physical is comprised of water. So you don't need all of these things. Just formulate what you feel this means to you as a soul, as a person, as a spirit, as an essence, a presence, a being, an aura, as consciousness is expressing itself in this form temporarily. There is no book on this stuff. I have my writings on my books that I'm going to be publishing very soon, but it isn't trying to tell somebody what to do. It's just me sharing my connection of what it means to me, and hopefully that somebody can get something positive from it that can help them with their own lives as well. That's it. That's the premise of this whole channel. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not better than you. I'm not above you or superior or looking down on you or I've got it all figured out. Look at me, how great I am. I still learn every day. I make a lot of mistakes, and when that happens, I make sure not to repeat them again. It's a learning curve. We're always on this. It's not going to end. Even when you leave this earth, the lessons continue forever because we are always a work in progress. No matter how much time you put into this stuff, you're never going to learn it all because you can't. That's the whole point of taking this journey. It's an unlimited exploration and a limitless discovery. It just goes on forever, just like the universe. Everything goes on forever in every direction. Absolutely. Why should this be any different? It isn't.